Brought to you by in association with Whisper.
A very good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to your favorite show, Coca-Cola, the evening show at 6. I am Sadiksha Shrestha. Tapai sampurnalai swagat cha yet another episode of Coca-Cola, the evening show at 6. Sadai mangalbar chai aaj pani ma aisakeki chu, and today I have a very special guest with me, my first foreign guest, who is going to talk about something that he really cares about, something that is for Nepal. He works for the Himalaya charity, jasko main uddeshy bhaneko nai नयाँ न्यूबोर्न बेबीज र भर्खरै आमा हुनुभएका महिलाहरूलाई उहाँको स्वास्थ्यको लागि र बच्चाहरूको स्वास्थ्यको लागि केयर गर्ने एउटा फाउन्डेसन रहेको छ. So I'd like to welcome to my show Henrik. Thank you so much for coming and being a part of the show.
Thank you for inviting me.
It's a pleasure to have you here.
Likewise.
So Himalaya charity, you know, I got to know about this a few weeks ago. But to all our viewers who are just watching this show today, what would you like to tell them on what Himalaya charity is? Like I told them in brief, what does Himalaya charity do? It looks after newborn babies and women who've just recently become mothers. So from a person who is involved in the charity as the Goodwill Ambassador, what would you say, what does Himalaya charity do?
Himalaya charity makes sure that infants that are just born have the best possibility of a good life, and that happens within the first 1,000 days of its life.
Right.
And so it does it in 3 ways. The charity, which is based in Bodhi Timi, which is a part of Bhaktapur.
Right.
So we have 3 different
programs.
Yes.
Sort of.
One is outreach camps where we go out to the factories, brick factories and carpet factories, and meet with the mothers who just gave birth that don't have time, can afford it, to come to a clinic.
Right.
And give the necessary information and educate them on how to take care of
the
newborn.
Right.
And it's very, very simple things. Something that's very unique for the charity is that we do home visits, which is adapted from the more Scandinavian, especially in Denmark, model where nurses go out and teach the mothers how to
take care of
as soon as possible. So when they're just like maybe just born or 1 week into it, make sure that they know everything about nutrition, about hygiene, and how to breastfeed. Simple things that some of them don't know.
That's very true. Like even in Nepal, I think a lot of women who are pregnant get most of the information through their aunts or through their mothers, you know, who have experienced this before. A lot of relatives are involved. They give a lot of knowledge. Some of it are necessary. Some of it are just unnecessary superstitions also when it comes to, you know, childbirth and breastfeeding and all of that in Nepal. But I can understand that the women that you work with or you help are actually women who don't even have the liberty to stay at home because they have to go out to brick factories like you mentioned, maybe right after they give birth to a child and, you know, work every day because that daily wage is what feeds the whole family. So you came to Nepal about a week ago?
A little over a week ago, yes.
And it's your first visit to Nepal,
It's my first visit in Nepal.
So you came here in association with the charity.
Yes.
When you knew what the situation was, what the charity was doing. So when you came to Nepal and you looked at, you know, you went on field and then look at the situation, what did you think? Was it worse or better than what you'd imagined in your head?
I would say some parts of it were better, but some of it was worse.
Right.
Like, you know, some of it, like simple things, like we were visiting a mother a week ago and she didn't eat fruit because she was convinced that the fruit she ate the week prior to our visit gave the child a cold.
Okay.
Which means now that the mother is not getting the nutrients that she needs to breastfeed a healthy baby.
Right.
And, you know, so some of the belief systems, I was shocked to realize that they're actually a hindrance for the children to get the best possibility of getting a good and healthy start for their lives.
Okay. And Himalaya Charity was founded a few years ago by Pia Torp, right? She is a psychotherapist.
Yes.
And then while she was in Nepal, she encountered the relationship between a mother and child when she used to do potteries, right? Can you elaborate more on that?
Yes. She was here for 3 months because her husband was climbing Mount Everest. And so she worked at a charity called DSA, Diaram, who is taking care of disabled children. And when she was getting into, she was doing some trading and thinking to help the community by trading pottery back to Denmark. She saw a lot of these women with the kids in the back with no connection. And as a psychotherapist, she knows how important it is for a child
to bond
with this is just as important as it is to have the right food to eat.
Right.
So she's like, I can make a difference. I want to make a difference here. And so the first thing she did was start the mother groups, where she would educate mothers on the bonding between the child and the mother. And she met 2 doctors who are both pediatricians and work with nutrition, and that's Dr. Ram and Dr. Manju. And with them, she decided to start this charity.
All right.
And that was in 2014.
All right. So with that, a little history of what Himalaya Charity does, when was it founded, and the main reason behind Himalaya Charity. Don't go anywhere. Take a short break. Maybe Google what Himalaya Charity does and come back to join us on knowing more about the charity, what Henrik's role is, and what are the ground realities that he discovered when he was here or has been here in Nepal for the past week.
Brought to you by in association with Whisper.
Welcome back after that short commercial break. You're watching Coca-Cola, the evening show at 6 with me, Sadiksha, and my guest, Henrik. So, Henrik, when we talked before, you mentioned something about the first 1,000 days for a baby, for a newborn, right?
Yes.
So, why is the first 1,000 days so important?
Well, in the first 1,000 days, that's where they develop the brain, that's where the immune system gets up and running. And according to the WHO, 40% of children under 5, they are what they call stunted, which means the height doesn't correlate with the age. Right. They should actually be a lot taller. And they can have trouble later on in school, learning, all of that. So it's a high number, 40%, that and 20% of all children in Nepal under 5, they are underweight. Okay. And 11% are what we call wasted, which means that it can be fixed.
Okay.
But once you're stunted, it's irreversible, and you won't get the growth, you won't get the development of the brain and your immune system.
And all of this is also sort of related to the first 1,000 days, the care that happens in the first 1,000 days of the baby.
Yes, because after the 1,000 days, it's irreversible, and they will be affected by the malnutrition the rest of their lives. But if it's before, we can have the chance for them to not have a chronic disease that we see, unfortunately, a lot of kids do have.
And I'm sure when you came to Nepal, there must be a lot of shocking statistics that you found out, that you were very surprised to know. Can you share something like that with us?
A lot of it I found out when I arrived and we met with the whole team of the Himalaya charity. I was like, oh my God, 50,000 children die every year in Nepal, and 60% of those 50,000 actually die because of some malnutrition-related issue.
All right.
And so what Pia is doing, and what she is doing to help educate mothers how to take care of an infant from the day it's born, is remarkable.
I know, and I'm sure that it is making such a big difference in the community that you're working in also, because I'm sure a lot of them are labor women who do have their babies all the time, but the thing that you mentioned about bonding,
yes,
it's not there between the mother and the child, because the mother is totally focused on maybe just feeding the baby sometimes, but completely on working, because they probably get paid per hour, and maybe have certain targets, especially if they work in brick factories.
Yes.
So for them, the work sort of becomes more important than the bonding with the baby, because for some, maybe they even believe that now, since they've already given birth and they have a baby, the baby will grow up and be fine. But they maybe have that misconception as well.
Yes,
right?
It's very important, and the breastfeeding is the most important thing, obviously, because what she eats is
what the baby
is going to get.
And if there are misconceptions like what you mentioned about not eating a certain type of fruit, or not being able to afford basic, facilities for the baby, basic care, hygiene, health, all of that also becomes a bigger problem for the women who've just given birth.
Yes. And I spoke with Dr. Ram about infants being born in, a lot of times the infants don't even get fresh air after being born.
Okay.
And which means that they're actually in a small room with a lot of cooking, for these small airways will get ruined because they need fresh air. But the mothers sometimes believe that it's, they shouldn't be outside because they'll get other infectious diseases, which is not true. But, so it's all these belief systems that the charity is up against when they go on these visits. Or they put, a lot of the children are born with they have the coal on the eye to keep out the bad spirits.
Right, the kajal.
But, so also they will make sure that the mothers understand that it shouldn't go into the eye. It should be outside. And, a lot of the kids do get eye infection. They put oil in the ear. It's a misconception.
True.
Dr. Ram said you should not put oil in a baby's ear.
And all of these are basic changes that the mother has to make in order to protect her child, right? I'm sure a lot of urban women, they have sort of this resources where they can read books, go on the internet to find out, or consult a doctor for that matter. But all these women who are working in rural areas do not have, like you mentioned, access to doctors, or simply cannot afford them, will not have, or will be lacking all these information that are so easily available to everybody else but them, right? And the first 1,000 days for a newborn is really important, but I think to make sure that that message is registered in the brain of the mother, I'm sure you have to also get this message out to pregnant women, right? That's right. So how do you do that?
The charity actually just started inviting pregnant women and making mother groups for the pregnant women, so that they from the day one know how to treat the infants when they're born, and which is amazing. So that's done through mother groups. Now, most of the other women that the group finds is through local health girls who work in the health department in the municipality of Bhaktapur. So they know the community and the health system, and they let girls know that once you have your baby, call the charity and they will come out, because this bag can save life.
So this is the bag for life, right?
This is what we call bag for life, yes. And it has a lot of stuff that will get a good start for the kid. Okay. And it gives everything in here gives a good way of communicating to the mother why this is important. Okay. Some of the stuff.
Sure. So if you want to know what is inside the bag for life, make sure that you do not switch your channels and you come back after the break. So तपाईहरुले आजको यस कुराकानीमा हामी हिमालय च्यारिटीले के गर्छ त भन्ने विषयमा हामी कुराकानी गर्दै छौं। कसरी हिमालय च्यारिटीले चाहिँ भर्खरै जन्मिनु भएको बच्चाहरु र भर्खरै जन्म दिनु भएको आमाहरुलाई के कस्तो हिसाबले आफ्नो बच्चाहरुको ख्याल राख्नु पर्छ भनेर जानकारी दिनुहुन्छ भन्ने बारेमा हामी कुरा गर्दै छौं। हेनरिक हुनुहुन्छ मसँग र उहाँले भर्खरै बैग फर लाइफ को बारेमा कुरा गर्नुभयो। So त्यो बैग फर लाइफमा के छ त भन्नको लागि चाहिँ stay tuned, do not go anywhere, and make sure that you come back after this break.
Brought to you by in association with Whisper.
Welcome back after that short break. You're watching Coca-Cola, the evening show at 6. With me, Sadiksha, and आज हामी Himalaya charity को बारेमा कुरा गर्दैछौं. मसँगै हेनरिक हुनुहुन्छ जो आज यहाँ आउनु भएको छ Himalaya charity को बारेमा कुरा गर्नको लागि. And we were just before the break, we wanted to show you what the bag for life has. So, Henry, would you show us what do we have in the bag for life?
So, the bag for life comes with more than just the bag. On our website, you can donate a whole bag.
Okay.
But it comes also with 3 home visits from a nurse that will go and educate the mother in how to breastfeed, about hygiene, nutrition, all of that, how to take care of the infant. But let's see what's in the bag.
Okay.
So what they get is a shawl
right,
to carry the baby in. And let me
because if I may add, in a lot of the women that you really take care of, I think they really carry the baby with the stole, right?
Yes.
That's what they do.
Yes.
And then next.
Then we have a diaper, which gives us a good opportunity to talk about how to actually wrap a child. Because there's I've seen a lot of children being wrapped way too much.
All right, so they usually wrap the baby very tightly as well.
Tightly and too many layers, which makes the child very hot during the day. But during the night when it's cold, then the cloth actually acts as a freezer.
Okay.
And they end up getting pneumonia.
All right.
So this will teach. The nurse will teach the mother how to put the diaper on the child in the best possible way. And yes, and then obviously a towel so that it can all be kept clean. Then there's clothing. Again, we talk. The nurse will talk about
how to properly
dress a child, an infant, so it doesn't get unnecessarily sick. A changing mat, which can be washed and is very hygienic.
Because I'm sure even this will be like a luxury for a lot of women. Because they usually change it on the floor or wherever they can, which is very, very unsafe, especially for a newborn baby. So something as simple as a changing mat is also, I think, like I mentioned, a luxury for some women who work, in those areas who earn so little that they really cannot even afford to have food on the table. Forget about a changing mat.
Yes,
right?
And something I didn't think about. I'm not in the health section myself. But I learned from the nurses at the charity that it's very important for a child to have a safe feeling about being put on the same place.
All right.
So it actually connects with this, this is my space and this is where I get cleaned. And so there's a lot of more than just changing the mat.
So this place is sort of like where the baby also doesn't have fear and is relaxed and calm whenever, the mother is changing diapers, cleaning the baby, sort of like that. Yeah, you wouldn't think that,
No, I was like, wow, good thinking.
I know. That's something very new. I learned something new today as well.
Obviously a little bit of toy.
Right.
And a bib.
Yes.
For when the child eats.
Okay.
One thing that's very important in the bag is the thermometer. And the nurse will obviously talk about how important it is that when the child is hot, take the temperature. If it's too much, call the clinic or go see a doctor.
Because again, I am pretty sure a lot of women just use their fingers to measure the temperature of their babies and just assume that, maybe it's just a little bit of, high fever, it'll go down in a few days, it's not that serious.
Yes.
But a thermometer will tell you exactly what temperature your baby is, and because high temperature is definitely a risk for newborn babies.
It's very high risk. And the best place is rectal. A lot of women don't like that, but that is the most safe place to. Also, it comes with a soap, and the soap gives the nurse an opportunity to talk about hygiene with the mother, along with some
sanitizer. Right.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
And comes with some cotton. To clean out the oil that shouldn't be in the ear of the child.
Of the child, correct.
And some massage oil, as a lot of mothers massage the kids, and it's important that that all the joints are stretched out, that they start doing the gymnastics actually with the kids.
Yes, I'm sure there's a proper way of doing that too, because I think that information, like the massage information, has been passed down generations, and I have seen a lot of mothers, really, it's like, should you really be doing that to a baby? Sometimes some mothers are over cautious and they really do it very slowly, but some of them, especially grandmothers, would really take the baby and then from the experience also do it. So I'm sure they teach the right method to do the diapers as well as do the massage.
Exactly,
right?
Everything.
Okay.
That's it comes with a leaflet as well, a pamphlet that tells, which I didn't bring.
Okay, no worries.
That reminds them of everything.
Okay, so how to do each thing
and
why
the
is it
breastfeeding.
important. All right.
They do a lot of work on the breastfeeding itself. How important it is to empty one. I only know this from seeing what they talk.
Right.
And I hear that you have to empty out one breast before you start with the other one, because the last of the milk is the best. And
all right.
some mothers do the mistake of, the child doesn't want this, but maybe they have given the fake milk or the
powder milk.
The powder milk, and then it's not hungry and it doesn't want to breastfeed, but they have to breastfeed. That is the
the first thing. Yeah,
very important. And some mothers then just give cow milk, which will give them a lot of problems with the intestines.
Okay, because it's not easily digestible for the infants as well.
They get constipated, and it actually ruins a lot of the bacteria in the stomach. This is what I've heard. I've learned a lot in a week.
Yes, I've
this
learned
is all information that I've learned just in 1 week.
I've learned
but what I also learned from one of the nurses that was constantly like, reminding the mothers that after 6 months, they have to feed them human food.
Right, solid food.
Because some of the mothers will actually breastfeed way too long.
Right.
I mean, up until they were 1 year old.
True.
They would get malnutrition as well, because they do need
other
food
meat, as well.
They need vegetables, and they need rice. I've learned a lot, and I also learned that a lot of children are being immune to penicillin because they're overtreated with antibiotics.
Okay.
Because
very
they're
young
like,
age.
It has a fever, so
true.
So they talk a lot.
So there needs to be a balance as well as to when, and when should you really go to a doctor and all of that also.
Exactly.
All right. So, there's so much help that the charity is doing, but I'm sure the charity also needs help from other people, like how we mentioned, the local organizations, the mother groups as well. So how would you ask them to be involved?
Well, the municipality is our key to, is PS key to doing this, because we are located in the building and it's all given by the government. The municipality is there's a clinic at the bottom, and then Himalaya Charity have
a sort of an office.
Yeah, where we have the mother groups and
the meetings and the discussions and information where that happens.
Now we're with the municipality. We're doing a big garden where we can do gymnastics, because a lot of the women have been home for 45 days. They need to get back in shape.
Right.
We have another little garden that we're now cleaning up with the local people.
All right.
To do a garden where we can have mother groups outside.
Okay.
So we're constantly building and expanding but we couldn't do this without the help from the local people and the municipality.
All right, that's very nice. So if you're also local watching this program, so revenue कार्यक्रम हेर्दै हुनुहुन्छ, तिमी भक्तपुरतिर बस्नुहुन्छ, कसरी चाहिँ हेल्प गर्न सक्नुहुन्छ भनेर सोचिराख्नु भएको छ भने हिमालय च्यारिटी अवश्य पनि गुगल गर्नुहोला, रिसर्च गर्नुहोला. You have a website, right, and a Facebook page, so I think you can go there, get more information. Do not go anywhere. We'll continue this conversation after this break.
Brought to you by in association with Whisper.
Welcome back after that very last break for today's episode of Coca-Cola, the evening show at 6. I am Sadiksha and I have Henrik with me today. So Henrik, we talked about the Bag for Life. We talked about how local people have been supporting, the charity.
Yes.
But maybe we definitely want to reach out to more people, don't we?
We definitely want to. And Himalaya charity, I mean, they need memberships.
Right.
Honestly, we need, the only thing that keeps this thing running are funds from companies, and the Rotary Club has been a big help.
All right.
Both here, and there's a local Rotary Club in here in Nepal as well. But local memberships
is very important.
Private people signing up, and we have 3 different kind of memberships.
Sure.
So the cheapest one is approximately 2,000 rupees a year.
Okay.
Which is not a lot of money, but it helps because we can get these bags.
Right.
And if you take a bigger membership, you also are part of helping for the home visits, for us to pay for the salaries for our staff.
So the 3 types of membership, the smallest one, the cheapest one would be 2,000 a year. Then the next one is
5,500, and then the big one is 11,000 a year.
So if you're watching this show and if you definitely want to be a part of Himalaya charity, तपाईहरुलाई यदि हेल्प गर्नु मन छ, भर्खरै जन्मिनु भएको बच्चाहरु र भर्खरै जन्म दिनु भएको आमाहरुको लागि के गर्ने इच्छा तपाईसँग छ, 2000 रुपैयाँ वर्षमा छुटाउन सक्नुहुन्छ, दशैं पनि आउँदैछ. Maybe in this festival, if you want to donate certain amount for a good cause, I think Himalaya charity can be one of those. So I'd highly encourage and recommend as well as request you to त्यो दक्षिणा जुन पाउनुहुन्छ दशैंमा त्यो अलिकति छुटाएर maybe you can do certain good work. So all these money will go towards helping the newborn and the mothers as well,
and the staff and all of what goes into the
so the doctor visits will also be paid, the visits to the factories, the outreach programs, the home visits can all be taken care of if we have more memberships.
Exactly.
All right.
It's compared to other NGOs, this NGO is completely run by Nepalese local people.
Okay.
All the foreigners are all volunteers.
All right.
But the rest are staffed and is run by Dr. Ram and Dr. Manchu.
Okay.
And our plan is to build a new clinic next to the one that's already existing.
All right.
And future plans is to roll out all over Nepal, but in collaboration with Dulakhel Hospital.
Okay, so that will be the immediate future plans that Himalaya charity has.
Yes.
Okay, but you've been here for the past 1 week, a little more than 1 week.
And a half,
yes. So, we'll round it out to about 2 weeks. Do you see there's a big need for more people to be involved, for more charities to come in, and especially help in this particular sector of newborns and new mothers?
Oh my God, when I saw the statistics of children being stunted or wasted and a lot of kids dying, I was shocked.
Okay.
And it is sad, and we can actually do something about it, and some of it is very simple things as education and awareness.
True.
And my job is I don't work in health.
Right.
I come from a completely different background. But my job with the charity is to bring awareness to more people so that they can either go to the homepage and help us by donating, or for mothers to look up what should I do with my baby. I live far away from where the charity is, but maybe it can inspire women who are pregnant now to actually do something about it and make sure that they are treating the infant correctly.
Sure. And thank you so much for coming to the show today, for talking about Himalaya charity as well. And I'm sure तपाईहरुले पनि आजको कार्यक्रमबाट धेरै नै जानकारी पनि पाउनु भयो होला. And they can go to Himalaya Charity's website.
Yes.
Right. So himalayacharity.com.
Correctly.
And then you can know more about Himalaya charity. Maybe you can sign up to be a member, a yearly member of 2,000, roughly 5,500 or 11,000. See what you can do, what you can contribute, and that way you can really help these newborns and new mothers as well. So, Henrik, thank you so much for being a part of today's...
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you so much for being part of today's program.
I know Pia is very thankful for you to take on this
It's I think my small contribution and my show's small contribution as well to get this message out to a lot of people. So thank you very much for being here.
Thank you.
आजको कार्यक्रम हेरिदिनु भएकोमा तपाईहरु सम्पूर्णलाई पनि धेरै धेरै धन्यवाद। मैले अघि भने जस्तै तपाईको यो यसपालिको दशैंको दक्षिणाले अलिकति हेल्प गर्नु होला अरु कसैको लागि नयाँ जन्म लिनु भएका शिशुहरु र जन्म दिनु भएका आमाहरुको लागि केही गर्न चाहनुहुन्छ भने you can definitely go and research more about Himalaya charity and help new mothers and the newborn babies. So यही मेसेज र रिक्वेस्ट का साथ आज म सदीक्षा श्रेष्ठ पनि बिदा हुन चाहन्छु। तपाईहरुलाई दशैंको शुभकामना पनि दिन चाहन्छु। So very happy Dasai. I'll see you guys next week.
Brought to you by in association with Whisper.